She called the cops on me for moving out. Yes, you heard that right. Moving out of my own house. I stood there watching 5 police cars surround my home, officers with hands on their weapons. All because Karen Whitmore, our HOA president, decided that nobody leaves Willowbrook without her permission. But Karen made one fatal mistake that night. She didn't know who was inside that 5th patrol car. Something was about to happen that would change everything. Drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? Because this insanity happens everywhere in America, and what happened next will blow your mind. It all started 6 weeks ago, when I received the opportunity of a lifetime. St. Mary's Hospital chain wanted to partner with me for an exclusive organic vegetable supply contract. 5 years guaranteed, enough to expand my small farm into something that could truly honor my late wife Lisa's dream. That morning, I stood in my backyard staring at the basil plant she had left behind. Still green, still growing, 3 years after cancer took her from us. Lisa had been a nurse who believed in healing through nutrition. Keep the garden alive, Robert. Grow food, heal people. Those were her last words. And I intended to keep that promise. So I poured my heart into building our small suburban farm. Rows of tomatoes, cucumbers, beans, and basil stretched across the backyard. Every leaf, every harvest was a memory of Lisa. At first, neighbors loved it. They bought produce, praised the project, even brought their kids to see how food grows. But then came Karen Whitmore. Karen wasn't just a neighbor. She was the self-proclaimed queen of Willowbrook, HOA president for 8 straight years. Her word was law, her smile a mask, and behind it was a woman who thrived on control. At first, she ignored me. But once the hospital partnership was announced, suddenly my farm became a community violation. It began with letters. You are in violation of HOA landscaping guidelines. Then, fines, $50, $100, escalating every week. When I appealed, citing bylaws that allowed vegetable gardens, she escalated. She sent her lapdog Mike Stevens, middle-aged, camera always in hand, to patrol my house, taking photos of every bag of soil, every hose, every car parked out front. Neighbors who once waved stopped looking at me. The isolation grew heavy. Only Maria, who lived 3 doors down, still spoke quietly to me. One afternoon by the mailbox, she whispered, "She's scared, Robert. It's like she knows something's about to happen." She was right. One blistering afternoon, I swallowed my pride and walked across the street to reason with her. Mike was in the bushes clicking photos. Karen answered her door in a silk robe, wine glass in hand, though it was only 3:00 p.m. "Robert," she purred. "Come to surrender?" "Karen," I said, steadying my voice, "this has gone too far. I'm just trying to move forward. Why are you making this so difficult?" Her mask cracked. "Because you embarrassed me. You made me look weak with your lawsuit over that garden ordinance. Do you know what people said? That I couldn't control one farmer. Me! After 8 years running this HOA," her voice dropped lower. "Besides, you're violating the 90-day rule. You can't move. The rule is illegal, Karen. Unenforceable." Her smirk returned. "Try me. I've destroyed bigger threats than you, vegetable man. That night I couldn't sleep." Mike was out front with his camera. He was so focused he didn't notice the unmarked car rolling past, taking photos of him. I didn't know it then, but Sergeant Rodriguez had been quietly building a case on Karen after she threatened to burn down his wife's bakery. The universe was aligning against Karen Whitmore. She just didn't know it yet. At midnight, I got a text from my son Nathan, requested time off approved. "See you tomorrow, Dad. Don't worry. Everything's going to be okay." But Maria's next text chilled me. "Mike's been asking everyone about your son. He knows Nathan's a cop. Karen's planning something. Be careful." Friday arrived with oppressive heat. By 7 a.m., my powerless house was already an oven. I was hand-watering plants with bottled water when the county health inspector showed up again, red-faced and irritated. "Mr. Thompson, I don't know who you've angered, but someone filed a report claiming your vegetables are contaminated with E. coli. They even sent photos." He showed me images of produce, sitting next to sewage, blatantly photoshopped. "I'm filing this as harassment," he muttered. Then his expression softened. "But my wife's been craving those heirloom tomatoes. Any chance you got some left? Even in hell, kindness finds cracks." I handed him 10 pounds. For a moment, I felt human again. But Maria texted minutes later, Mike's van isn't in his usual spot. Be careful. By noon, it hit 98 degrees. My water nearly gone, my resolve thinner. That's when Karen arrived with her entourage, Mike and 3 bribed neighbors. She announced loudly, "Robert, your house is unsafe. No power or water. As HOA president, I'm giving you 24 hours to restore utilities or face eviction." Tom Bradley, one of the neighbors, looked guilty. Just last year, I'd helped him build raised beds for his disabled wife. Now he stood nodding along like a puppet. Something inside me snapped. "My wife died 3 years ago of cancer," I shouted, voice breaking. Her last wish was for me to keep growing food. "That basil!" I pointed to the shriveled plant. "She planted it 2 weeks before she died. And you're killing everything she loved because I hurt your pride over a garden ordinance." The street went silent. Neighbors peeked from porches. Karen's smirk wavered, then hardened. "Save your sob story. Mental instability is another violation. Maybe you need professional help instead of dirt." But Maria had been filming. She uploaded the video within minutes. The caption, "HOA President Terrorizes Widower, Honoring Late Wife's Dying Wish." It spread like wildfire. Outrage. Local businesses pledged support. Former board members came forward with their own horror stories. For the first time, Karen's power cracked. That evening, Nathan finally arrived. We hugged hard. I sobbed into his shoulder. "It's okay, Dad, I'm here now," he whispered. He looked at the wrecked garden, jaw set. "Mom would be proud. Let's fix this." We strategized, but shadows lingered. Nathan frowned at his phone. "Colleagues say someone's been asking about me." "Dad, something's wrong." As night fell, Karen's SUV rolled up across the street. She just sat there staring. Maria texted, "Rodriguez says Karen just called the police. She's telling them an armed intruder's in your house." She's pointing at Nathan. Moments later, sirens. 5 patrol cars screeched to a stop. Officers jumped out, weapons drawn. A voice boomed, "Armed suspect, come out with your hands visible." Nathan stood calm, hands raised. "Dad, don't move." Spotlights blinded us. "Drop your weapon! Step away from the homeowner!" Nathan projected his voice. "I'm Officer Nathan Thompson, badge 2847, Riverside PD. I'm off duty visiting my father. My service weapon is holstered. I will slowly show ID." Karen shrieked from across the street. "That's him! He's been stalking me! He's fake law enforcement." But one young officer froze. "Wait, aren't you the guy who got the commissioner's commendation last month? The youth program?" Relief flickered, but tension held. Then Sergeant Rodriguez's car pulled in. He stepped out, badge high. "Stand down!" "That's Officer Thompson. I know him personally." Weapons lowered. Karen exploded. "Why aren't you arresting him?" "He threatened me." Mike puffed up. "I witnessed it all." "He's dangerous." Rodriguez fixed on him. "Name?" "Mike Stevens." Rodriguez's smirk was lethal. "The same Mike Stevens under a restraining order for stalking? So you admit you've been photographing residents for Karen? That's conspiracy and a violation," Mike stuttered. The trap snapped shut. Nathan pulled out Maria's footage. Karen cutting utilities, berating me, Mike lurking. "She's been harassing my father for weeks," Karen cracked. "You can't do this!" "I'm HOA president. I am authority." She spun to neighbors. "You're all ungrateful. I kept property values high. This is the thanks I get?" Rodriguez's tone was granite. "Mrs. Whitmore, you knowingly filed a false police report." "That's a crime!" Karen screamed. "He's not a real cop! This is fake! You'll all lose your jobs!" Then she lunged at Nathan, slapping him. Gasps. Silence. She had just assaulted a police officer. "Karen Whitmore, you're under arrest," Rodriguez declared, cuffing her. Assault, false reporting, harassment. She stumbled into my ruined garden, collapsing face first into the heirloom tomatoes Lisa and I had bred. Mike tried to flee, but tripped over her decorative planters. As officers pulled hidden recording devices from Karen's yard, Rodriguez turned to me. "Mr. Thompson, we've been building a case for months." Her arrest seals it, but this goes deeper. That night, as Karen was driven away, the FBI showed me a photo of Judge Harold Morrison. "Does this name mean anything to you?" the agent asked. My blood ran cold. The FBI agent's voice cut through the chaos. "Judge Harold Morrison, does this name mean anything to you?" I froze. Morrison was the county judge who'd ruled in Karen's favor 2 years ago when I tried challenging the HOA garden ban. He had dismissed my case in less than 5 minutes, smirking as if it was all a nuisance. The agent continued. We have reason to believe Mrs. Whitmore has been funneling money to Judge Morrison in exchange for favorable rulings. Tonight's events give us probable cause to dig deeper. My head spun. This wasn't just about tomatoes or bylaws. This was corruption at the highest level. The next morning, the neighborhood buzzed. Videos of Karen's arrest had gone viral overnight. Hashtags like "Hodorant" and "Osh Justice for the Farmer" trended nationwide. Local news vans clogged the street. Maria brought me coffee. You've started something bigger than Willowbrook, Robert. People are waking up. But Karen's allies weren't finished. The interim HOA board, stacked with her friends, slapped me with new violation notices. Improper fence height. Unauthorized signage. They demanded $5,000 in fines within 30 days. Nathan laughed bitterly. They're desperate. Dad, we can fight this. Rodriguez says the DA's office is interested. Meanwhile, Karen sat in county jail refusing to eat, demanding wine and silk pillows. Her lawyer filed motions daily. But every time she appeared in court, more evidence surfaced. Bank transfers, burner phones, recordings of her conspiring with Judge Morrison. The community shifted. Tom Bradley, the neighbor who once sided with her, knocked on my door. He looked ashamed. Robert, I'm sorry. Karen threatened to revoke my wife's care assistance if I didn't support her. I'll testify if you need me. One by one, neighbors broke free of her grip. 2 weeks later, federal agents raided Karen's house. They hauled out boxes of documents, computers, even safes hidden in walls. I watched from my porch as Mike Stevens, now a cooperating witness, pointed things out to investigators. He looked smaller, deflated without Karen's shadow. Nathan nudged me. She's finished. But Dad, this isn't just about her. Morrison's going down too. Sure enough, within days, Judge Morrison was indicted on bribery and obstruction charges. The scandal rocked the county. Every ruling he'd made in the past decade came under review. Through it all, the hospital contract held steady. St. Mary's executives told me, "We admire your resilience. If you can grow vegetables under siege, you can supply our hospitals." For the first time in months, I felt hope. But Karen wasn't done. Out on bail, she showed up at a neighborhood meeting wearing oversized sunglasses and dripping contempt. "This community is ungrateful," she hissed. "I built Willowbrook. Without me, your property values will tank. And you," she jabbed a manicured finger at me, "you destroyed everything for your little farm. You'll regret this." But no one backed her. Maria stood tall. "We're not afraid anymore, Karen. Go home." Karen laughed bitterly. "Home? You think I'm beaten? I have friends in high places. Those friends turned out to be the very people now under investigation because of her." Within a week, her bail was revoked for tampering with witnesses. She was hauled back to jail, screaming that she'd sue everyone. The garden slowly revived. With Nathan's help, I repaired trellises, replanted beds, and installed new irrigation. Neighbors brought seedlings, tools, even cash donations. For the first time, Willowbrook felt like a community again. On the day of the first harvest for St. Mary's, I stood by the basil plant Lisa had left behind. Green, fragrant, resilient, Nathan placed a hand on my shoulder. "Mom would be proud, Dad. You honored her wish." Tears blurred my eyes. We honored her. Maria filmed as crates of vegetables were loaded into the hospital van. Reporters asked questions. Children played nearby. The air felt lighter. Karen's trial drew national coverage. She sat in court, lips pursed, glaring at me like she could still bend reality. But witnesses lined up. Neighbors she'd extorted, former board members she'd silenced, Mike confessing to his stalking. The prosecution laid out years of corruption, illegal fines, embezzled funds, bribes to Morrison. When the verdict came, guilty on all counts, the courtroom erupted in relief. Karen screamed obscenities as marshals dragged her away. She would serve a minimum of 15 years. Judge Morrison wasn't spared. He resigned in disgrace, facing his own sentence. Willowbrook elected a new HOA board, transparent, community-driven, supportive of the farm. Maria was voted president unanimously. The first rule they repealed? The garden ban. Months later, standing in my thriving backyard, I thought about Lisa. The basil plant still stood, its roots deep, its leaves strong. Nathan joined me, his badge glinting in the sun. "Dad, you turned grief into something powerful. You showed everyone what resilience looks like," I smiled. "It wasn't just me. It was all of us. Even you, son. Especially you." He looked at the rows of vegetables, the neighbors chatting nearby, Maria laughing with children. "This is what Mom wanted, isn't it?" I nodded. "Exactly this." The story had begun with harassment, threats, and a tyrant's grip on a neighborhood. But it ended with justice, community, and the rebirth of Lisa's dream. Because sometimes revenge isn't about getting even. Sometimes it's about surviving long enough to see the bullies fall under the weight of their own corruption, while the garden keeps growing. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable HOA dramas, outrageous neighbor showdowns, and karmic justice stories. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.